Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, I'm Christodon1, and I am back with another video. Vince McMahon announced to the worldwide exclusive, that the XFL is going to be making its way in 2020. Now, basically, there were some details in this video as well as the article below. You can go to ESPN.com to check the article out as well as the video. Basically, this new concept of the XFL is going to be completely different than its predecessor. For everyone out there who's been living under a rock, allow me, brother, to explain. When the XFL was first launched many moons ago, it was Vince McMahon and NBC's baby. The games premiered on NBC, and it was right after the NFL season. Now, the schedule's still the same, except Vince McMahon is pocketing his own money into this league. Now, basically, he said that this is going to be for the fans. All right, this league is for the fans. He reiterated that throughout the whole presentation. And if anyone knows Vince McMahon is he's a used car salesman. He says certain key words and certain key phrases to get confidence in the consumer base, which happens to be the fan base. All right, so he used words such as and slogans such as the XFL. Every player will be standing for the national anthem. He also talked about they're going to have requirements. Not anyone can join the XFL. If you don't meet those certain rules and requirements, you won't be able to play in this league. Now, this league is going to start in 2020. Some of the concepts he said in that presentation, as well as the article, will be condensed or be stricken. One thing I noticed that's probably going to be stricken right off the rip is these requirements that players have to have. Now, Vince McMahon knows his competition is the NFL, so he's going to try to get the best player possible he can. There's going to be fewer teams, a smaller roster. I believe it's a 40-man roster, and it's going to be more favorable economic-wise. Okay, so a lot of the requirements, like Johnny Manziel, if he's still playing professional football, if Johnny Manziel is interested in the XFL, then I'm pretty sure Vince McMahon somehow, some way is going to figure out a way to incorporate Johnny Manziel into the XFL. As far as college players, if there's a certain college player out there that has some talent, some capability, and just didn't get drafted in the NFL, then that player probably going to go to the XFL. Not to mention, with the new restrictions of the NFL draft, I wouldn't say new. These rules have been established, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago. Even mid-round picks in the NFL will probably teeter to either the XFL or the NFL. Who's going to pay the most? All right, and if that player is a commodity for the XFL. So I see a lot of bright things with the XFL. The problem with the XFL back in the day and why it didn't have any staying power was the owners. The owners wanted the XFL to be bigger than what they wanted to. The XFL to be bigger, and they even use their own resources, and a lot of those teams bankrupt. Okay, so if you put the XFL in like a salary cap in itself, where it's a 40-man roster, fewer teams, this may have legs and longevity. All right, and that's the reason why when the XFL, Vince McMahon and NBC couldn't keep the XFL any longer past a year, okay? Because most of those teams were going bankrupt and belly up because a lot of those owners had different unique ideals and concepts. Now, the XFL did have a lot of trending things that eventually the NFL, if you want to say stolen or taken away from, which was the camera on the wire where you have a different perspective and a different view of the field. The XFL started that before the NFL. The NFL adopted that ideal, as well as miking up the players. All right. The XFL incorporated that in their league. Now the NFL, only mic'd up a few players, but the XFL mic'd up all the players. All right. And the NFL adapted some of those trendy ideals. Okay, so it's not like the XFL was a league that made no sense. The XFL was on the cutting end of how to revolutionize football. Okay, as well as Vince McMahon branding the XFL, as well as the players like He Hate Me. All right, that He Hate Me, became a household name. So with Vince McMahon's experience with the WWE, he's going to use this type of experience and adapt it to the XFL. Vince McMahon knows players will have brands. All right, players have brands, and there's going to be a couple of stars in the XFL are going to be household brand names, just like in the WWE with the top wrestlers. Okay, so if they keep things to a minimum, don't overblow or overspend on certain things, the XFL will have legs. Now it's going to have the similar schedule as the old XFL. They're going to premiere right after the Super Bowl. All right. So between the Super Bowl and the start of next NFL season, that's the XFL schedule. All right. And really the only competition they have to worry about is baseball. All right. Yes, you're going to have the combines. Yes, you're going to have the NFL draft, free agency, but those events, those occasions don't, they usually last for like a couple of days at most, the minimum. So if the XFL cater their schedule, they can probably bypass some of those days and won't have games playing alongside those particular days that's catered to the NFL. So we're going to have to wait and see how this worked. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so you'll know when my next video or live stream is going down. It's your boy, I'm Chris the Don One, and I am out.